Hello, everyone, and happy Monday. Hope everyone had a great weekend. I know I did. I just relaxed, didn't do much work. So, we are talking about eating habits. We know food is medicine, and what does Ayurveda talk about? And that's what we're going to find out from an Ayurveda doctor today, Dr. Timalsina. She is joining me live from Nepal, the house of Mount Everest. So, thank you so much. Namaste.
Namaste.
I'll let you explain us the eating habits and what Ayurveda talks about it.
Okay. So for Ayurveda, eating habit is something what we do consciously. It's not that I'm being a doctor, I am not the person to tell you what to eat, when to eat, and all this, because you are the main doctor of your own body. So Ayurveda talks about being conscious while eating. So this is the main, not only while eating, while choosing what to eat, while choosing when to eat, while choosing which food to eat at the beginning of the lunch, which to eat at the end of the lunch. This is all about your conscious decision. When Ayurveda talks about food, it talks about the conscious decision, consciousness, it talks about it. And next is Ayurveda talks about our different body types and food, what we eat and when we eat something is going to be decided by our body type. So while I talk about body type, let me say there are 7 different body types according to Ayurveda, and these are determined by which dosha there is probably predominant or more in your body, right? So in that case, what we eat is to be decided by what your body type is. That's the foremost thing. And next is our eating culture. Normally what happens is we are engaged in different cultures. Like for me as a Nepali, rice is the main food, right? So maybe there is like flour or bread in some other cultures. So what Ayurveda talks is about your, first we need to know about our body type, then we need to know what our body type demands at the time. So next is about not only about body type, we also need to know about our digestive power. Now we talk about Agni in Ayurveda. So what we eat is to be highly determined by what our digestive fire is at the moment. Okay, so next is not only when to eat, the drink we drink during the meal or after the meal, before the meal, that's also going to affect what our body is getting from the food we eat. So Ayurveda talks about how to choose food, what to choose food, when to eat, and all this. So when I say all this, let me first go to how to know body type. That's a very difficult thing for somebody. So I'm not going to get into how to go into body type, but I can describe you what your body type may be according to the cravings you have, right? So for the pitta body type, normally people like spicy food or hot drinks, they like that, right? But for vata, they are like more, they enjoy something eating like chips or breads or something like that, right? For kapha body type, normally they don't have more appetite, but they tend to eat heavier food, right? So these are the body types, and we are going to decide what we eat depending on this. Next is about the digestifier. Yes, this is a very difficult question to know. Okay, how to know our digestifier, right? So in that case, what happens if we are hungry, if we are feeling like more hunger, we can assume that our digestifier is increasing. What happens is in somebody's body, somebody may feel hungry often, like again and again within 2 or 3 hours, or somebody might not feel hungry at all. They are just following the routine to take their food, right? So there can be different digestive fire according to your body. So what we are going to do, what we need to more focus on something is that we are not going to overeat, or we are not going to undereat, right? In Ayurveda, there is a term called adhyasan. Adhyasan means we are not supposed to um, eat any diet or eat any meal before the first food or first meal we have taken is totally digested. What happens is, right, these days we are going with routine, right? 7 o'clock best breakfast, or 12 o'clock lunch. So we are going through routine, but that is not the right way of dealing or right time of eating food. What Ayurveda says is we need to be conscious about our body. If our body is asking for it, let's go for it. But if our body is not asking for it, let's skip a meal, or maybe let's skip a breakfast. That's how Ayurveda deals. It deals with different individually. It goes with what our body type is and what we are feeling at the moment. So adhyasan is something Ayurveda highly just talks about. We are not supposed to eat something before our previous meal or previous breakfast is completely digested. Okay, there might be a question how we know something is digested, right? We feel hungry. That's very easy to answer. We feel hungry. So the main point is we should not eat anything before we feel hungry. It's not that we are always trying to follow some kind of timetable. That's not compulsory in Ayurveda. Okay, and next is Ayurveda also talks about conscious eating. While eating, what happens is these days we are either attending some meetings, we are looking through some phones, we are checking emails, we are doing something while eating. But what Ayurveda says is we need to have a conscious eating. That means 5 of our senses are to be focused on our food. You first, what happens is when our food is served in our plate, we can just watch it and eat through our eyes, right? So the next is you can just feel the taste. Every spoon you can feel the taste. So this is kind of conscious eating, forgetting everything else and focusing on the food. That's the next thing. And also the very important thing Ayurveda talks about is viruddha ahar. That means which food are not to be eaten together, right? So especially in in our South Asian culture or in our Eastern cultures, what we do is we are not supposed to eat fish and milk together, right? Our grandmothers are always trying to stop us from doing that. That is the concept of viruddha ahar. That means which food are not compatible together, we need to ignore them. And now here I'm going to say which food may not be compatible together. How to know that, right? That's a very, again, a big question. In that case, what we can do is food has different properties, and which some of the food are supposed to give warming nature. They have warming nature in our body, but some of the food, they may have cooling nature to our body. There is something virya called a very difficult term for you, so I'm not going to include that right now. But let's simply, we can say that something that feels warm and something that feels cold when it enters inside our body. That two things are not to be composed together when you are taking them. Next is Ayurveda also talks about which food to eat at the beginning, which food to eat at the end. Okay, so in Ayurveda there are 6 different rasas, or let's say 6 different tastes of food, and in that normally we can say that madur means something sweet. When I'm talking sweet here, I'm not only talking about sugar, honey, or something like that. Here sweet means something that is, when it is digested, it gives carbohydrate. That's sweet in Ayurveda, right? So sweet is supposed to be eaten at the beginning of our meal. This is because whenever we are hungry, there is more acidic environment in our stomach. And if we are giving something sour, or if we are giving something very spicy, that might irritate our mucosa layers. And then normally we are going with sour. After sweet, we are going with something sour, salty, or something like that. And at the end, we are going to end with something pungent or astringent. That's the right order from Ayurveda. But this right order is not the right order for all body types. What happens if you are feeling hungry more often, maybe this is the right thing. For Pitta body type, this is the right order. But for when it comes to Vata and Kapha, appetizer might be necessary in the beginning, because we are not feeling hungry, we need appetizer, right? So appetizer might be necessary for other body types. Again, regarding desserts, when I meet some of my clients, I can again and again we encounter the same questions that, doctor, are we supposed to eat dessert at the end? Does Ayurveda supports that? I get this question very often. And for this question, I would answer that, okay, if you are feeling hungry again and again, if your food is digested very quickly, that might be a good option, dessert at the end. So this order is madhur, amla, lavan, something like salty, spicy in the middle, and then astringent, pungent, and again sweet at the end, just to make a covering layer for your food. But if you are somebody who don't feel hungry often, if you have a problem with slow digestion, dessert might not be a good idea. So this is the order of the food, right? Next is Ayurveda also talks about when to drink water. So I have again encountered this question again and again, that doctor, when are we supposed to drink water with food? Are we supposed to drink wine with food? This is a very repeating question I get. So for this question, what Ayurveda says is, we are not supposed to drink water just before our food and after our food, but it's very good to drink water often, like sip by sip during the meal. And what happens is, when we drink water sip by sip during the meal, we are flossing our taste buds with every sip. So the idea is, we are going to eat 1 or 2 spoons and then maybe a sip of water, then again some spoons, then again sip of water. This is the right way to drink water. But when I say we are supposed to avoid drinking water after meal, what happens is, sometimes after meals we are just drinking maybe 1 or 2 glasses of water. That's not the right idea. It may dilute our digestive enzymes and create problem in our digestion. So before, at least 30 minutes before meal and at least 30 minutes after meal, we are not supposed to drink water. When I say we are not supposed to drink water, I don't mean you should not touch water, or we should not go with any sip. It's not the idea. Sometimes if we feel thirsty, we can go with 1 or 2 sips, but not a whole glass after and before the meal. And next is, again, this is a very unique concept of Ayurveda. Ayurveda says how much to eat, right? So when it comes to healthy eating, Ayurveda says that we are supposed to divide the capacity of our stomach into 3 different parts, right? So 1/3 is to be filled with solid food. In that solid food, that may be bread, rice, or pasta, whatever you are eating. Solid food is supposed to be 1/3. And 1/3 is to be filled with liquid. That liquid can be either milk you are drinking, or maybe dal, that's especially famous in our Eastern culture, or maybe water, or maybe wine if you are drinking wine. So this 1/3 is to be filled with liquid diet, okay? And remaining 1/3 capacity of our stomach is to be left empty most of the times. So the idea is, we are not going to eat full anytime. If we feel like, okay, we can adjust 4 or 5 more spoons, we are going to stop right there. What happens is, food is digested by peristalsis, right? The movement of the muscles. So what happens is, if we are just feeling our stomach full, there will be a problem in peristalsis movement. So for the peristalsis movement to go very in a fluent, easy way, keeping our stomach 1/3 of our stomach empty can be a good idea. So this is some of the unique concepts what Ayurveda talks about drinking and eating.
Okay, I think it's beautiful, and I love the way Ayurveda has all these kind of simple processes in place, and if we follow it, it makes sense, right? The thing is that a lot of us don't even understand why we should not drink water right before and after. And typically, when we're having our meals, we we drink water before and after all the time, because that's what we're used to, right? That, the food should go down. So these concepts have to be understood by common people like us, that what is the reason, and honestly, if I drink water right after the meal, I just feel bloated, and I feel bloated for so many hours, and the food, right? It is counterproductive. So thank you so much. I think these are great tips starting Monday today. Let's just try to, follow some of the tips that Doctor has shared and see what you feel like with that. Thank you so much for joining me. And anything else you want to add before I wrap up today?
I think I've included most of the main topics here, but again, regarding eating and drinking, I can talk for hours because I know what we are doing wrong, and the simple things matters, because gut brain axis is something that is very famous topic these days. So if we are eating right, we are just avoiding every diseases. We are preventing diseases, I would say, because toxins are the main problem of metabolic diseases this day. So we can try following some of the basic ideas I have given, and then if we have something more, maybe knowing your body type from some of the Ayurveda doctors would be a very good help for you when you decide what to eat, because they, according to body types, maybe for Pitta body type, they normally like spicy, but spicy is not good for the health, right? For Vata body type, they normally like that chips type of thing, like something that's very dry and rough, but that is not good for the health, right? So sometimes our body may be craving something that is not good for us. Normally what happens is our body talks to us, our body converses with us with what they want. So if we listen to our body, we know what we need to eat. But sometimes there can be a miscommunication. In that case, I would recommend you to go with maybe meet some of your doctors, maybe some Ayurveda doctors, and know your body type. That would be a very good help for you to know what to eat and decide your meal.
Thank you so much. Yes, absolutely. Personalized nutrition. And the other word is such a, that all of us are now understanding how our genes are different, and the Ayurveda has been talking about it for the last 5,000 years, that each one of us is made differently. Understand your body constitution, and then feed your body and nourish your body accordingly. That's the concept. With that, thank you so much, Dr. Timalsina, for joining me. Thank you.
Thank you for having me.
Thank you.